Hi everybody, it's me again. We're here with Chapter 9, Demonstratives and Adjectives that act like demonstratives in the way that they decline. Demonstratives are words that point things out. Demonstrare in Latin means to point out. And in English, they are words like this and that. So if we say, no, I like this one, but that one's not so good, we're using demonstratives to point out or bring to special attention things that we want our listeners to know what we're talking about. In English, there are two demonstratives, this and that, but in Latin, there are three: this, that, and that of yours. And they correspond to the speaker in terms of the first, second, and third persons, and also in terms of space as in relative to the speaker. And I've got a little graphic here to help out showing that. Hic, haec, hoc, that is this, means this here by me, either in space, the thing that's close to me here, or sometimes emotionally, the thing that's near and dear to me, as we would say. The second, that corresponds to second person, is iste, ista, istud. That means that, but that over there by you, the person that I'm talking to. Sometimes iste, ista, istud can be pejorative. That can have a bad meaning. It can mean something like that, damn, whatever, because it's used in situations similar to when there's a problem with a child and one parent says to the other, that son of yours. It's used to distance the speaker from the object and to kind of place the blame for it on somebody else. So hic, haec, hoc, this near to me, iste, ista, istud, that thing of yours over by you, and then ille, illa, illud, which corresponds to third person, and it means that thing over there, apart, not by me, not by you, but over there. And in distance, this can also mean something good. It's like that famous or that spectacular, as in, look at that. So, whereas iste, ista, istud is a that places the object kind of on the ground, on our level, right by you. Ille, illa, illud can be a demonstrative that places the object kind of on a pedestal for us to look at and admire. In declining, what's particular about demonstratives, and we're going to see this in several kinds of pronouns and other words that work like demonstratives, is that they have ius in the genitive singular and I in the dative singular for masculine, feminine, and neuter. And I've put the first three cases up here on this slide for you to see what I mean. For example, you can see that hic, haec, hoc goes to huius, 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 huic, 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 iste, ista, istud. The genitive is istius, 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 and then dative isti, isti, isti. And ille, illa, illud is ilius, 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 ili, ili, ili. After that, if you look on page 71 and 72, you'll see that the way that these things decline is really pretty regular. It's virtually the same as one of the us, a, adjectives that you've known and loved for quite a while now. And so these are the special cases to pay attention to insofar as learning something new. It's unusual enough that if you have a relative or somebody older who's taken Latin in the past, they generally can whip this off at you because they were forced to memorize it over and over again to get it right. So if they say they've taken Latin before, usually their eyes will roll up in the back of their head and they will begin to chant either amo, ama, samat, amama, samata, samant, or hic, haec, hoc, huius, 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 week, week, week. And generally they get lost at that point because after that the declension is regular, and for that reason they forgot about it. but they remember this much. The way that these things are used is similar to that in English. We use demonstratives to highlight a noun by placing it in front of the noun. Like if I said, those books, or these men, or from those women. The demonstratives are placed in front of the noun to help highlight it. And the same is true in Latin. Demonstratives are also used as substantives, just as any other adjectives are. And if they're used by themselves, like Eli, those are those, and we have to fill in women from the gender. So, or hike could be these things, because it's neuter and plural. Last of all, demonstratives are used as pronouns. And if they're used as a pronoun, they take their gender and their number from their antecedent, the thing that runs before or has occurred before, that the pronoun points back to. So, for example, if I was to ask you in English, which book would you like? Book in Latin is masculine and singular. So if you said, I like this one, this in Latin would need to be masculine and singular too, in order to make it clear that what the this is referring to is the book in the previous part of the sentence, or the sentence just before. Other than that, I've included a little section here that has to do with English idioms. And I'm going to do this in some of the other chapters as we go along, bringing up places where Latin appears directly in English. In this particular instance, I'm using one of the demonstratives with an idiom that's post hoc propter hoc, which is shorthand for an informal logical fallacy. It means after this, then because of this, and it's a logical fallacy in which people suppose that because something has happened after something else, it must be because of that something else. I always wonder when I listen to NPR, and during All Things Considered, they always tell you how the Dow Jones was doing, and they vary the placement. And I've wondered if it is to try to avoid this kind of logical fallacy being drawn. Because you can imagine that some parts of the news, if somebody said I don't know, the president tweeted out something new and unusual, and then the next piece of news was the Dow Jones today dropped 300 points, people might think that there was a cause and effect there. And but it sounds very strange, however, if they're reporting on the weather, and people say, well, the East Coast has been extremely hot lately, and in the Dow Jones has gone up 470 points. Most of the time, we don't make the cause and effect between the two. However, it's an extremely common logical fallacy, and one that's very handy to remember when you're arguing with somebody. All right, then. That's enough for today for me. Make sure you get that homework in, and as you work and you have problems, make sure that you post them in the forum if you have questions, or can offer help and assistance to other people, so that we can keep you on track and keep you sailing smoothly along. Otherwise, I'll see your homework and sentences up on the homework forums, and look forward to seeing the translations and getting through the next test coming up here on the end of the unit. All right, thanks a lot, and good work to you.